All right, all right. Greetings, my friends. Grace, mercy, and peace from him who is and was and is to come. Very shortly, I suspect. So, this is Rogue Diabetic, and welcome to the digital wilderness. I just wanted to read this quick article to you and do a little commentary. West Virginia governor says only a catastrophe will push unvaccinated Americans to get shot. Oh, my word. West Virginia Governor Jim Justice said that those who are still unvariolated against Vidco will be pushed to get the variolation only by a catastrophe in which an awful lot of people die. On ABC's This Week, host Martha Raddatz, ugh, I despise that woman, but anyway, asked the governor what would push those who have not gotten variolated in the state over the edge to change their minds. The governor who said in recent The governor who in recent weeks has called on hesitant constituents to get the variolation responded, I hate to say this, but what would put them over the edge is if an awful lot of people die. Okay, Justice said the only way he could see the nearly half of adults in West Virginia who have not yet gotten variolated alter their thinking would be if a catastrophe occurred that none of us want. I don't believe that. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Justice said the only way he could see the nearly half of adults in Virginia who have not yet gotten their variolation alter their thinking would be if a catastrophe occurred that none of us want. Okay, so I'm not going to read the rest of this because we've heard it already once, twice. I'm sure they just keep repeating this over and over again, right? That only a catastrophe will push unvariolated Americans to get variolated. So, yeah, this is them threatening. Okay, they're telling us now what's going to happen. As if we didn't already, like. So, and it's really weird because, like, in Nebraska, um, I was in Phoenix, I was in Arizona over the winter. And already by the time I left, which would have been in like the middle of May ish, early to mid May. I mean, it was already people were already giving up on all of this out in this quintessential blue city, in the middle of this quintessential blue city. Nobody was like. And let me tell you a little bit of something about blue cities and the people that live in them. Most of those people don't give a rip about politics. They really don't. Okay, if you press them on it, they might play the part of the Democrat or the liberal, especially if they're colored. And by colored, I simply mean not white. Don't read anything into that. Don't think that I'm not like being that I'm being a racist or something. I just simply mean not white. So I mean, these blue city people, they'll play the part, but at the end of the day, they don't vote. They don't vote. They know it doesn't mean anything. See, here's the thing about a lot of those people. A lot of those people are a lot street smarter than all the dummies out in the red states. They're at least less gullible. Stupid. You guys really think your vote counts? Dummies? You think that the Constitution is in effect anymore? Or that it ever was, for that matter? So, but anyway, by the time I left, it was just about like people were already starting to like um, take off their masks. And by the time I came back, and then I came back through Utah and in Colorado, and I was in Nevada, I was in Las Vegas, and was I in New Mexico on the way back? Maybe, maybe not. I think I was in New Mexico on the way out, but not on the way back, I don't think. So anyway, but in like Utah, Arizona, it was already already there on the Indian reservations in Utah. They weren't wearing their masks anymore, and those were high compliance areas at one point. I mean, those were places where the people there were really being hard pushed to, take this seriously. And by the time that I got into, by the time I got when I left Nebraska, every dope was wearing a mask. Okay, because it was during the middle of the quote unquote spike. The quote unquote third wave or whatever it was they're calling it, or the second wave, whatever. That winter, though, the normal type during this normal season. Every year you have a spike in seasonal illnesses in the fall and in the spring, starting in the fall and then going through to the spring. And it starts to get noticeably worse in the late fall, then continues through the winter, and then it starts to fall off, and then it starts to completely disappear by the end of the spring. And that's and some of that is hay fever. Okay, but there's always a spike of colds and flus, which is all it ever was. And so but anyway, in January, every dope. It was finally in November of last year that the grocery store put their stupid little wear a mask sign on their door. And but by the middle of January, I was the only one that was still ignoring that sign. And kudos and credit to them, they never ever that I never got confronted in there. But nonetheless, I mean, that was all they had to do is put up a sign. And that turned the other half of the dummies into zombies, mask wearing zombies too. Now, but by the time that I got back, it was the mask compliance was obviously, and there was already talk of it being over, official talk of it being over. It wasn't long after I got back that they took the stupid footprints out of the stores. And just a couple days ago, they took down the plexiglass, and the governor here in Nebraska actually finally totally ended the state of emergency. And apparently they've taken down the tracking website, the track cases, the post statistics. Dumb. So they're trying to get you guys to feel like this is over. And the people where I'm at are hook, line, and sinker. Okay? In the meantime, they're saying crap like this. Like only a catastrophe will push unvaccinated Americans to get shot. So they're telling you. Right? The fuse is lit. Okay? I've also seen some presentations where apparently there's a scientist called Montagnier who is a Nobel Prize winning scientist, which doesn't impress me. But that's their standard of credit. What's one of their standards of credibility? So I still mention it. And I don't know what I think about this guy, because apparently he thinks that he thinks that the virus that causes it is real. And I'm still that's not what I've been preaching, so to speak. That's not the theory that I've been governing myself with, but that I've been using to guide my actions during this whole thing. Okay, but anyway, according to this guy, anybody who's been variolated will be dead in 2 years. And it's an excessive immune, and this variolation is gonna cause an excessive immune response. So he claims specifically any corona. Okay, not just SARS-CoV-2, any corona, because there's these that's not the only corona alleged corona out there, and they've allegedly been around for a long time. Not like I say, but whatever causes this spike in the fall, whatever causes this spike in seasonal illnesses in the fall and in the winter is gonna like trigger an excessive immune response in those who have been variolated. And he says everybody in 2 years. Not just you know, I mean, that would qualify as an awful lot of people dying. Okay, Justice says, I hate to say this, but what would put them over the edge is if an awful lot of people die. So when an awful lot of people die this fall and winter, okay, that's when they're gonna have to shift something or change something up. But that's when they're gonna be like, and what it's gonna actually take to get for the rest of the people to get variolated is they're gonna have to actually be pushed. It's not going to be like there's going to be all this and then all of a sudden they're going to just voluntarily start. Those of us that haven't been vaccinated are going to start voluntarily showing up to Walgreens to get our variolation. Okay, they're going to have to come after us. Now it's in some people, and that's where just that you won't be able to buy or sell come in because they've already laid the groundwork for that. Yeah, it's true that everybody can buy or sell. That most people can still buy and sell, whether they've been variolated or not. But it doesn't matter because, but I mean, you tell that to somebody who works at that hospital down in Texas, who's living paycheck to paycheck, that just lost their job, they won't be able to draw on it. Not only won't get these extra generous unemployment benefits that people have been getting for the past year and a half, those people won't get dick. They won't get because I know it's different in every state, but if you're if in Nebraska, if you're fired for cause, you don't get fucking unemployment. Okay, so so they're already laying the groundwork for leaning on people that way. And it'll continue. It'll get worse. If people start dropping dead left and right, and they just claim it's from a variant, and obviously they're going to have to say that it's that this variant jumped the shark, or whatever it is that they call it, or breakthrough cases. That all of a sudden now that there's this, it changed just enough. It's still SARS-CoV-2. It's not like SARS-CoV-3. It's still SARS-CoV-2, but it's changed just enough that our variolation doesn't work anymore. I mean, it'll be bizarre. It'll be this whole big mess of contradictions, like it has been from the beginning. People will still have to get variolated if they want to get the variolation, the new variolation. That might be a time where they roll out these microneedle array patches. But it's gonna, and then that's how they'll do it. So that's how they'll get, you know, 30-40% more of the population to do this. And they're talking about approving this for kids under 12. And I wouldn't be surprised if they don't. Because, I mean, if everybody starts dropping dead, you know, who's going to, and the only people that are left are the people that haven't been variolated. I mean, I think they're getting ready for a pizza party. I think they're getting ready to throw a great big pizza party. Anyway, I love you guys. I'm sorry if I've been an asshole throughout all this. Okay? And we're all responsible. Okay? There's nobody's hands are clean on this. So in order to survive this in any form, in any sort of form that you want, that you would like want to survive in, then what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to admit to Jesus that you're a sinner. Tell him you're sorry. Thank him for dying on the cross to save you from your sin. Acknowledge that he's God, the one and only true God, the only begotten Son of the Father. And they'll get to, whoever loves their life will lose it. But whoever loses their life for his sake and for the gospel's sake will save it. So like, share, subscribe. I'm out.